Hello, good evening. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from anywhere you're watching all over the world. How are you this evening? Sorry we came a bit late. We're trying to arrange some technical issues. How are you today? Sister Anna, thank you for joining. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Thank you. So sorry for keeping you waiting. So without wasting much of our time, the topic we have started treating since Sunday is the anatomy of depression. Okay, sorry, I didn't introduce myself or any new person that might want to watch this video. My name is Oludunsin Arodudu, and I'm the host of the Today's Women's Discovery Talk Show. On Sunday, 31st of January, we started a topic titled The Anatomy of Depression, and Dr. Oludunsin took us on the introductory parts of depression. We talked about the medical parts of it, the foundational problem, the foundational aspects of depression. We also talked about the risk factors. Then we talked about the sociological causes of depression. We're talking about the sociological causes when we had to end the show on Sunday. So this evening, we're going to continue on the sociological causes of depression. Then we're going to be moving onto the biblical perspective of depression. Please share this video. Sister Anna, Sister Christy, thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you. Please share this video as you're watching so that some of your friends can get to join in. Before I take myself off the screen, depression, let me just run through something. Depression can be described as that persistent sadness and a lack of interest or pleasure in previously rewarding or enjoyable activities. Things that you used to enjoy in the past, they now become unexciting. This persistent feeling of sadness, that's just a kind of description that we can give to depression. And according to World Health Organization, they said those are the documented people with depression. They said, let me see, that people from all ages, about 264 million people from all ages suffer from depression all over the world. And in this side of the world that we are, that's Nigeria and Africa as a whole, and we Africans in general, we don't really pay attention to our mental health. And that was one of the things that propelled me to bring this series to the front burner, so that we can talk about these things, then we can get to understand some of those, feelings or some of those emotions that we experience that we cannot put a finger to, so that we get to understand the in-depth and the, how exactly depression works and how it can actually destroy your life if you do not pay attention to it. So at this point, I'm going to allow Dr. Oludunsin to take over the show while I take myself off the screen. Dr. Oludunsin, how are you this evening?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
We're so glad to have you on the talk show. So I'm going to leave the screen.
Same here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. So that you can
Thank you very much for coming on this session today again. We started on Sunday by looking at the different scientific definitions of depression. We talked about it from a geographic point of view, as a valley or a sunken or depressed feature surrounded by other features that are relatively high. It's a sunken or depressed area in comparison with the surroundings. We also looked at the different medical points of view, that defined depression as a continuous condition of sadness, hopelessness, guilt, worthlessness, and many other things that have been described by the hosts when this program was being introduced. One of the notable definitions of depression we mentioned on Sunday was that depression is a sinking feeling that people often find difficult to rise above. We said it was not just a medical condition, it was a social issue because it often affects things like relationships. It causes strains on relationship. It causes employment problems. It causes drug and alcohol abuse, and some of the times it leads to suicide. While looking at the causes and triggers, we looked at briefly at two major perspectives, the medical perspective and the sociological perspective. From the medical perspective, we said it could be genetic. If there are people who have had it in a particular family, there's a possibility that it might also show up in the life of such people. We said it was biochemical as a result of several different transmission of neurotransmitters in the brain, and that usually antidepressants are usually given to suppress the secretion of some of these neurotransmitters in the brain. We also said it could be hormonal. From a medical point of view, as it could be as a result of menopause, childhood, thyroid problems, or other disorders that causes a change in the hormone production and functioning of the body. We also said it could be seasonal. It could be as a result of longer nights and shorter days, usually called seasonal affective disorder, and it could be situational. It could be triggered by events such as loss of a loved one, being fired, having financial troubles, or undergoing serious change that have big impacts on people. We also said it could be sociological, and that it is, from a sociological point of view, it is a social problem that is a product of evolution, or what you could call metamorphosis. It travels through time with people as a result of different foundation